one story I've never told before, not to anyone, not to my parents, not to my brother or sister, not even to your mother. To go into it, I've always thought, would only cause embarrassment. Even now, I'll admit, the story makes me squirm. For more than 20 years, I've had to live with it, feeling the shame, trying to push it away, so by this act of remembrance, I'm hoping to relieve at least some pressure on my dreams. Still, it is hard to tell. The day the draft noticed arrive was a humid afternoon, cloudy and very quiet. I remember the rage in my stomach. Later, it burned down to a smoldering self-pity, then to numbness. Beyond all this, or at the very center, was the raw fact of terror. I did not want to die, not ever, but certainly not then, not in the wrong war. Driving up Main Street, past the courthouse and the Ben Franklin store, I sometimes felt the fear spreading inside me like weeds. I imagined myself dead. I imagined myself doing things I could not do, charging an enemy position, taking aim at another human being. At some point in mid-July, I began seriously thinking about Canada. The border lay a few hundred miles north, an 8-hour drive. Both my conscience and my instincts were telling me to make a break for it, just take off and run like hell and never stop. In the beginning, the idea seemed purely abstract, the word Canada, but after a time I could see particular shapes and images, the sorry details of my own future, a hotel room in Winnipeg, a battered old suitcase, my father's eyes as I tried to explain myself over the telephone. I almost hear his voice and my mother's. Run, I'd think. Then I'd think impossible. Then a second later, I'd think, run. I remember packing a suitcase and heading for the door, looking at all the familiar objects around me. My house, I thought. My life. Then scribbling out a short note to my parents. Will call. Love, Tim. I stared at the border and thought, now. I did try. It just wasn't possible. All those eyes on me, the town, the whole universe, and I couldn't risk the embarrassment. It was as if there was an audience to my life, and in my head I could hear people screaming at me. Traitor, they yelled. I couldn't tolerate it. I couldn't endure the mockery, or the disgrace, or the patriotic ridicule. Even in my imagination, the shore, just 20 yards away, I couldn't make myself be brave. It had nothing to do with morality. Embarrassment, that's all it was. And right then I submitted. I would go to the war. I would kill, and maybe die, because I was embarrassed not to.